Have you ever caught yourself lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering why life feels so chaotic, why love fades, peace feels like a distant dream, and every small problem feels like a tidal wave crashing over your head? What if I told you that nearly 2,000 years ago, a Roman emperor faced the same questions, and he found answers not in wealth, power, or fame, but in philosophy, in Stoicism? Stick with me for this video because by the end of it, the 9 Stoic rules we explore today, directly from the personal writings of Marcus Aurelius, might not just change how you view the world. They might just change your love life, your sense of control, and how you handle every storm life throws at you. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more timeless wisdom, and watch till the end because the last rule is the one Marcus himself admitted he struggled with the most. Let's begin. Rule number 1. Control what you can, accept what you can't. And how this one rule could have saved my relationship. Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever loved someone so deeply that it felt like they were part of your soul? You thought the two of you could survive anything. But then something happened. A fight, a misunderstanding, silence where there used to be laughter, and just like that, the person who once felt like home became a stranger. I've been there. And if I had understood this one, Stoic principle back then, really understood, that I might not have lost her. Let me take you back. It was a cold evening in late October. We were sitting across from each other at a tiny coffee shop, her favorite place. She wore that oversized sweater I loved. Her hair pulled back the way she knew I liked. But her eyes, they weren't warm anymore. They were tired. She looked at me like someone trying to find the person they used to love, and failing. She said, "I can't do this anymore. I don't feel heard. I don't feel safe. I love you, but I can't live like this." And you know what I did? I panicked. I tried to control everything. Her feelings, her tone, her decision. I told her she was being emotional. I begged, I argued. I tried to fix it all in one conversation. But nothing worked, because I was trying to control what I couldn't. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king of Rome, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." But back then I didn't realize anything. I was ruled by my fear of loss. Here's the thing about love, real love, it's fragile. Not because it's weak, but because it's precious. And when we try to control the other person, we forget the core truth of love. It must be given, not taken. It must be nurtured, not forced. What I should have done that night was something much simpler, and so much harder. I should have listened. I should have said, "I hear you. And while I can't control how you feel, I can choose to be present, to understand, to grow." That's the heart of this first Stoic rule. You can't control your partner's emotions. You can't control if they need space. You can't control the past or what hurt them or what they're afraid of. But you can control how you show up. You can choose patience when anger wants to explode. You can offer softness when pride tells you to stand your ground. And when love feels like it's slipping through your fingers, gripping tighter won't save it. But letting go of what you can't control and taking full ownership of what you can might just be the beginning of healing. Marcus wasn't just talking about politics and wars. He was talking about our inner battles, our relationships, our heartbreak. So let me ask you, is there someone in your life right now you're trying too hard to control? What if instead you accepted them and focused on being the best version of you? Think about it. And stay with me, because the next rule we explore may just change how you see time, death, and the love you think will last forever. Rule number 2, remember you will die. And why that might save your love life. Let me ask you a question that might seem strange. When was the last time you looked at someone you love, really looked at them, and realized they won't be around forever? I know it's uncomfortable, but stay with me, because I want to tell you about the moment I truly understood this rule, not in theory, not from a quote, but in the pit of my stomach, where reality hits hardest. Her name was Mia. We met on a rainy Tuesday. You know how some people walk into your life like a storm and others like a sunrise? She was both, lightning and warmth. We shared everything. Silly jokes, deep secrets. Sunday mornings in bed with coffee and no phones. I thought we had time. I thought we had forever. And then one night she called me. Her voice was quiet. "I'm in the hospital," she said. "They found something in my scans." My heart stopped. Over the next 6 weeks, we lived in a blur. Tests, tears, hope, fear, and in the middle of it all, a terrifying kind of clarity. Every single moment became sacred. We held hands tighter. We laughed harder. We said "I love you" without hesitation. We forgave stupid arguments. We stopped caring about things like dishes or unread texts or missed calls, because we knew something we hadn't known before. Nothing lasts forever, not even love. Not even us. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." That sounds grim, but it's not. It's a gift. Mia survived. She's still here, but I came out of that experience with a new rule burned into my soul. Memento mori. Remember, you must die, because when you do, you love differently. You don't waste time being passive-aggressive. You don't go to bed angry. You don't hold back a kind word or a kiss because of some dumb ego game. You cherish. You notice the way they laugh when they're nervous, the way they talk in their sleep, the freckles they hate but you adore. You hold it all like it's slipping through your fingers, because it is. And it's not just about lovers. It's your parents, your friends, your pets, yourself. Stoicism isn't cold. It's awake. Fully awake. It reminds you that life isn't a dress rehearsal. This moment right now is all you're guaranteed. So if you're watching this and there's someone you love, don't wait. Call them, hug them, say the words you've been holding back. Because one day you'll wish you had. And the beauty is, you still can. Let that truth not depress you, but wake you up to how precious this moment is. Because remembering you will die is how you remember to truly live. Stay with me, because the next rule might be the one that finally shifts how you deal with pain, setbacks, and heartbreak, and turns obstacles into fuel. Rule number 3, the obstacle is the way. How heartbreak taught me the hardest truth about love. Let me ask you something raw. Have you ever had your heart broken so deeply that even breathing felt heavy? The kind of pain where music doesn't sound the same. Food loses its taste and you swear you'll never trust love again? Yeah, I've been there too. Her name was Elia. We were together for 4 years. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. We built a life together. Weekend road trips, late-night kitchen dancing, plans to move to a little house by the lake someday. You know the kind of love where you start picturing forever? That was us. Until it wasn't. One afternoon, completely out of the blue, she sat me down, and with tears in her eyes, she said, "I love you, but I don't think we're right for each other anymore." I couldn't breathe. The days that followed were a blur. I begged, I questioned everything. I thought, this has to be a mistake. I'd built my future around her. What was I supposed to do now? It felt like life had flipped a switch and left me in the dark. But that's when I stumbled on a single quote from Marcus Aurelius. Just one line that changed everything. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." At first I didn't understand. How could this pain, this loss, this mess possibly be the way forward? But the Stoics believed something radical. Our pain isn't the end. It's the path. Let me explain. For months I sat in silence, hurting, but slowly I began asking myself better questions. Not why did this happen to me, but what is this teaching me? And the answers were humbling. I realized how much of my identity I had placed in that relationship. I'd lost my independence. I'd stopped chasing my own growth. I thought love was about safety, but I'd forgotten love is also about freedom. So I started running again. I wrote, I read, I called old friends. I traveled alone. And for the first time in years, I started becoming me again. You see, Marcus wasn't just talking about battles and empires. He was talking about moments like these when life breaks you, and you think it's over. But it's not. It's just beginning. The obstacle is the way. That breakup, that betrayal, that rejection, it's not the dead end, it's the turning point. So if you're going through something right now that feels unbearable, hear this. You don't need to fix everything today. You just need to keep moving, step by step, breathe by breath. That heartbreak you're feeling, it might be the fire that forges the strongest version of you. Keep watching, because the next rule is about the inner battle we all face. And it might explain why your mind feels like both your best friend and your worst enemy. Rule number 4, you are not your thoughts. And how this truth helped me stop sabotaging love. Let me ask you something quietly. Have you ever laid in bed next to someone you love and still felt completely alone? Not because they don't care, but because your mind kept whispering lies. She's going to leave. He doesn't love me like before. I'm not good enough. This is too good to last. If you've ever felt that war inside your head, when everything on the outside is fine but the inside is on fire, then this story is for you. There was a girl named Ava. God, she was everything I thought I didn't deserve. Kind, sharp, beautiful, inside and out. She loved me with a kind of softness that scared me. Why? Because I didn't trust it. Not really. Even though she showed up, even though she chose me day after day, my mind kept spinning. What if she gets bored? What if she finds someone better? What if I'm just a chapter in her story? And slowly, quietly, I began to pull away. I'd pick fights over nothing. I'd avoid emotional conversations. I'd joke when she needed honesty, all because of one thing. I believed every thought my mind offered me. And then one morning, after another unnecessary argument, she looked at me with tired eyes and said, "I'm not the one hurting us, you are. And I think it's because you don't believe you deserve love." That hit me like a truck. That night in silence, I opened Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, the journal of a man who ruled Rome and wrestled with his own mind every day. And I found this line: "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That's when it clicked. I am not my thoughts, and neither are you. Your mind, it's a storm sometimes. It replays old wounds. It echoes voices that told you you're not enough. It builds walls where there should be bridges. But here's the truth Marcus Aurelius lived by, and it's the one that changed me. Your thoughts are not facts. They're just visitors. They come, they go. Some lie, some help. But you are the observer, not the storm. I started catching those old thought patterns. She's going to leave. No, she's here. She's trying. I'm not enough. Not true, I'm growing. I'm learning to love better. Slowly, I stopped letting my thoughts steer the ship. And love? It started to feel safe again. So if you've ever pushed someone away because your mind convinced you they'd leave first, if you've ever ruined a good thing because you didn't believe you deserved it, take this rule to heart. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. And once you learn to sit with them, without obeying them, you finally begin to love without fear. Stick around because the next rule is one most people miss, but it might be the key to building a love that doesn't burn out when life gets hard. Rule number 5, love fate amor fati. A learning to love what hurt me brought me peace. Let me ask you a hard question. Can you love someone and still accept that they were only meant to be a chapter in your story, not the ending? It took me a long time to learn that. And I had to learn it the hard way. Her name was Zoe. Zoe was laughter in the morning, poetry in motion, the kind of person who'd show up with your favorite food when you were too tired to cook. We had sparks, sure, but it wasn't just chemistry. It was companionship, comfort, that click you don't find twice. But life doesn't always give you what you want. Her dream job offer came from across the world, Paris. She hesitated. We had long talks. We promised to try the distance. And we did for a while, but like a slow fade, the calls came less. The silences grew longer, until one day she called and said, "I think it's time we stop trying to hold on." And that was it. At first I hated fate. I cursed the timing, the distance, the universe. Why now? Why us? Why not forever? But then I found this phrase, 3 words that changed everything. Amor fati. It means love your fate. Not tolerate it, not endure it. Love it. Marcus Aurelius believed that everything that happens, everything is part of nature's design. And to fight it is to fight life itself. He wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." And that's when I realized I had a choice. I could resent what happened with Zoe, or I could choose to see it differently. Yes, it hurt. Yes, I missed her. But what if this wasn't the end? What if it was preparation? Because of her, I learned what real emotional intimacy feels like. I learned to be soft without shame. I learned what I value in a partner. And maybe, just maybe, I became someone better because of that ending. You see, amor fati isn't about pretending everything's fine. It's about making peace with what is. It's about turning pain into purpose. That breakup, that lost job, that missed chance, don't just move on from it, absorb it. Become stronger through it. Because if you can learn to love not just the highs but also the heartbreaks, the detours, the silence, then nothing in life can truly defeat you. So let me ask you, can you look at the hardest thing that's ever happened to you and say, thank you. You didn't break me. You built me? If not yet, that's okay. But maybe, just maybe, this idea, amor fati, is the key that unlocks your freedom. And with that mindset, you're ready for the next rule. One that reveals the real secret to lasting love. And it has nothing to do with chemistry and everything to do with character. Rule number 6, character over emotion. Why who you are matters more than how you feel. Let me ask you something most people avoid. Have you ever felt so angry in a relationship that you said something you didn't mean, something you couldn't take back? Have you ever walked away from someone not because you stopped loving them, but because you let your emotions take the wheel? Yeah, I've been there. His name was Julian. Kind, patient, thoughtful. He made my life better in a million little ways. Brushing snow off my car in the mornings, leaving handwritten notes in my books, knowing how I liked my coffee without ever having to ask. But I had a flaw. When I felt something, anger, jealousy, fear, I reacted instantly, harsh words, cold shoulders, ultimatums I didn't mean. I told myself, I'm just being honest. But the truth is, I was being emotional. Not honest, not wise. Just reactive. One night we argued over something small. I don't even remember what it was, but I remember what I said. If this is what being with you feels like, maybe I'd be better off alone. I didn't mean it, but he believed me, and a week later he was gone. That was the night I found this quote by Marcus Aurelius. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one. Stoicism teaches us this vital truth. You are not what you feel. You are what you do. Your emotions are signals, not orders. And character? That's who you choose to be in spite of what you feel. I felt regret, shame, grief, but more than anything, I realized I'd built my love life on emotion when I should have been building it on character. Here's what I mean. It's easy to love when everything's good, when you're laughing on road trips or slow dancing in the kitchen, but character is what shows up when love is hard. When you're tired, when you're misunderstood, when your ego is bruised, when they say something that triggers an old wound. And in those moments, you have a choice. React or respond. Blame or listen. Run or stay. Character says, I'm hurt, but I won't hurt you back. I'm scared, but I'll still show up. I feel like quitting, but I choose to love anyway. Because real love, the kind that lasts, isn't built on perfect emotions. It's built on consistent decisions. You can't always control how you feel, but you can decide to be kind, to be patient, to be loyal, even when you don't feel like it. That's the Stoic way. That's the love that grows roots. So ask yourself, in your relationship, are you being led by your emotions or your character? Because the feelings will rise and fall, but your character, that's what makes love worth trusting. Stay with me, because the next rule is one most people forget, but it just might protect your heart from making the same mistake twice. Rule number 7, control what you can, accept what you can't. The night I tried to save a love that was already gone. Let me ask you something that might hit home. Have you ever tried to fix something that wasn't yours to fix? A relationship slipping through your fingers, a partner changing in ways you couldn't reach. You tried everything, calls, texts, apologies, compromises, tears, but nothing worked. That was me with Sam. Sam was my calm. He was the one who balanced out my chaos. Slow thinker, a steady hand, a safe place. But life threw him into a storm I couldn't calm. He lost his job. His confidence followed. Then came his father's sudden passing, and suddenly the light in his eyes dimmed. The laughter came less often. He started pulling away, not just from me, but from life itself. I tried everything. Cooking his favorite meals, planning surprise dates, writing him letters, whispering I love you like a prayer into the dark. But he didn't come back, not really. He was there in body, but distant in spirit. I kept trying to control it, to heal it, to save us. Until one day he looked at me and said, I know you love me, but I don't think I know how to love you back right now. That night I broke. I cried the kind of cry where no one hears you but the walls. Because for the first time, I realized I can't control this. And that's when I remembered Marcus Aurelius's words. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. That's Stoicism in its rawest form. Control what you can, accept what you can't. I couldn't control Sam's healing. I couldn't carry both of our hearts, but I could control how I responded. So I stopped begging life to give me what it had already taken. I let go with love, not resentment. I didn't blame him for not being ready, and I didn't blame myself for trying. I just let go. You see, so many of us suffer not because of what happens, but because we refuse to accept what is. We grip, we chase, we plead. But peace? Peace only comes when you say, this is not mine to change. And that's okay. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop controlling. You can't force someone to love you. You can't fix every storm, but you can choose how you walk through the rain. And sometimes, the bravest thing you'll ever do is not to fight harder, but to surrender with grace. So if you're holding on too tight to something or someone, ask yourself, is this my responsibility? Or is this my resistance to reality? Because when you release what isn't yours to hold, you finally free your hands to hold something new. Rule number 8, master yourself first. Before you ask someone to love you, ask if you love yourself. Let me ask you a vulnerable question. Have you ever asked someone to give you something, attention, reassurance, affection, that you weren't even giving to yourself? I did, and it almost cost me the person I loved most. Her name was Raya. Raya was like sunlight, warm, open, present. She wasn't afraid to say how she felt. And in the beginning, that terrified me. She'd text long paragraphs about what she appreciated. She'd ask deep questions about my day, my dreams, my wounds. But I didn't know how to meet her there. Not really. Instead, I'd deflect, shrug off compliments, dodge conversations about feelings. I thought being low maintenance made me easier to love. But in truth, I was emotionally unavailable. Why? Because I hadn't mastered myself. I didn't know how to sit with my emotions. I didn't know how to speak my truth without flinching. I didn't know how to love me, so I relied on her to do it for me. And one night, she looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, I keep trying to reach you, but it feels like you don't even know where you are. That hit hard. That night, I opened Meditations again and found these words from Marcus Aurelius. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Strict, not in a punishing way, but in a powerful way. In other words, learn to lead yourself before you expect anyone else to follow. And that's when I realized, if I wanted a love that could last, I had to build the version of me that could sustain it. So I stopped outsourcing my peace. I started journaling, not just reacting. I stopped hiding my emotions and started owning them. I gave myself the love I kept begging her for, patience, honesty, grace. And over time, I became someone who didn't need to be saved. Because I had learned how to sit with myself in the dark and still find light. You see, Stoicism isn't about being cold or emotionless. It's about mastering your inner world so that your outer world doesn't control you. Because love, as beautiful as it is, will test you. It will mirror your wounds. It will stretch your insecurities. And if you haven't met yourself fully, you'll bleed those wounds onto someone who didn't cause them. So if you're single and searching, or in love and struggling, and hear this, master yourself first, your peace, your truth, your emotional rhythm. Because when you bring a whole person into love, you no longer cling to be completed. You connect to share, not to fill. Rule number 9, memento mori. Remember you will die. The night I finally understood what love meant. Let me ask you one final question. If you knew the person you loved most had only one day left to live, how would you love them today? Would you still hold that grudge? Would you stay silent about how much they mean to you? Would you scroll your phone during dinner? Or would you hold their hand like it was the last time? Because one night, I got that phone call. The kind that stops time. It was my brother. He said, she's in the hospital. You should come now. She was my mother. She wasn't just my mom. She was the woman who raised me through storms, who taught me how to love even when it hurt. We hadn't spoken in weeks. I was upset over something small, something stupid. And just like that, I might never see her again. Driving to the hospital, I kept hearing Marcus Aurelius in my head. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Memento mori. Remember death. Not to be afraid of it. Not to obsess over it, but to live because of it. You see, Stoicism teaches us that when we keep death in view, we stop wasting time. We stop sleeping through life. We stop holding back the love we were born to give. By the grace of something bigger than me, she survived that night, and I got the chance to say what I'd forgotten to say. I love you. I'm sorry. I see now what really matters. But not everyone gets that second chance. Some goodbyes happen in silence. Some kisses really are the last one. Some moments will never come back because we were too busy, too proud, too distracted to be present. So here's what Memento Mori taught me. Don't wait. Don't wait to forgive. Don't wait to express love. Don't wait to live the life you keep saying you'll start tomorrow. Because tomorrow, it's not promised. That person beside you in bed tonight, that friend you've been meaning to call, that I love you you've been too scared to say. Let death make you braver. Let it pull you into the moment. Let it teach you to love like it matters, because it does. Marcus Aurelius faced death daily and still ruled with wisdom, kindness, and humility. Why? Because he remembered. He knew life was short, and that's what made it precious. So here we are at the end of this journey. 9 rules, 9 Stoic truths. Not just to live better, but to love better. Remember death, and remember to love. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.